Guys, this is Lampzy and thank you for tuning into today's video, which is another transfer special. Now I'm going to try and get these to you every week, guys. I'll try and stick to my word, but I love giving you guys some transfer rumors that I have seen online. But obviously with last week I did have the star ratings all over the shot. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to bring the star ratings from 1 to 5. So I'll start 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But obviously I'll get straight into it. So at 1 star, starting there, is Neymar to Manchester United. Now, it's a pretty rare one, to be honest. Neymar is obviously clearly the 3rd, 4th, 5th, around that sort of best player in the world at the moment. He's a key aspect to Barcelona's game, and he did choose Barcelona to begin with over Chelsea, Man United, Barcelona and Madrid. So seeing this one happen, to go to Manchester United with only spending a few seasons at the Bernabeu, I can't really see it happening too much, especially with a €173 million release clause. Now, if Man United can activate that, that would be absolutely fucking crazy. To see Neymar in the Premier League, it would be amazing. But Manchester United's left and right wingers, I feel like that's already taken spot, especially if Mbappe-Lottin comes over, and they've already got Martial and Mkhitaryan. But obviously 1 star for that one. Now, sticking to Man United as well there. Now, we've also got Ivan Perisic. Now, he's actually been one of the best performers in the Inter Milan side this year. He's cracked in quite a number of goals. As you can probably tell, he's got quite a number of assets to his game. He's quick, he's strong, he can shoot, he can pass, he can do everything. To obviously slip into a left mid spot as well there. See, I'm not too sure whether that would happen again there, because obviously the left and the right sides are also done up. But obviously, if Man United are willing to pay 52 million, Inter Milan will be able to let him go. But whether to see that would be 2 stars. Now, staying on 2 stars, we've got the beast himself, Alexis Sanchez, been linked to Bayern Munich. Now, obviously, we're all pretty much aware of the circumstances of what Alexis Sanchez is doing at Arsenal. It's a little bit sad for Arsenal fans. Alexis Sanchez is obviously clearly one of the best attacking forces in the Premier League, if not the whole world there. But his release clause is 50 million. It's to see what team can activate that there. I can't really see him going to Bayern Munich very much, due to the fact is that they have Robben, they have Kingsley Coman, they have Dougie Costa. I don't know. And they've got Ribéry as well, and he's out of his skin this season. He's been getting, I think he's got 11 assists now for the season, just in the Bundesliga. But I can't really see it happening too much, because if they want to slot him into a striker's role, well, then you've got Robert Lewandowski to, play a part with there. So I can't really see it happening too much. So obviously still 2-star rating there. Now, staying on the 2-star rating is Eden Hazard. Now, obviously one of my favourite players, being a Chelsea supporter. He has been linked to Real Madrid numerous amounts of times. Now, when he did grow up, he was a Real Madrid supporter. Now, I believe when he first played at Lille, he was linked to Real Madrid in the beginning. Now, to be honest, he did choose Chelsea to begin with, and he's made a name for himself in the Premier League and to be one of the best players in the world. Now, the game against Crystal Palace, he was fucking unbelievable. It just sucks that Chelsea couldn't get the win, but we all know what he's capable of. We know what assets he's got in his bag. He's got a bunch of goods just laying there. But obviously, Real Madrid have said that they are willing to pay 100 million euros for Eden Hazard. Now, you can do a lot with that sort of money, but to be honest, in my position here, being a Chelsea supporter, I do not want to see him leave. Now, regarding that is because good players like that, great players, superstars players like that are very hard to come by that do what he does week in, week out. I can't see him moving from Chelsea. He loves it. He's got so many good mates there. You just see all the good videos that come out of the Chelsea locker room. I cannot see him leaving there, but obviously I'll leave that one on a 2-star rating. Now we're going on to the 3-star ratings now. We've got Rui Patricio now linked to Arsenal for £13 million. Now Czech is sort of coming on to his ages now. He's not looking the player that he was at Chelsea now. We can obviously understand that since him being in his mid-30s now. But to be honest, to get Rui Patricio for £13 million is feeling a little bit like a bargain. Obviously, he does play for Portugal still, but obviously that'll start getting a little bit rugged because he's now 29 years of age now. Arsenal do need a new goalkeeper now because they can't really trust on Petr Cech too much. I can't remember the last time Arsenal did keep a clean sheet. And obviously you can't really bank on Ospina keeping a clean sheet either. Now, Rui Patricio to Arsenal, I can see it happening, to be honest. But obviously the age factor could play a massive part in what could be the transfer going in or out. But I can't really see it happening too much. If they want to activate it, by all means go for it. It might be good for a couple of years. But obviously I think Cech and Patricio are still probably at the same level. But to see whether that'll happen, it will actually be a really interesting thing to see there. Now, going on to the next one, still staying on the 3-star rating. Now, this would be the sickest transfer, I'm not going to lie. Now, we all know that Newcastle is going to promote. Now, I can't wait to see Newcastle back in the Premier League. I love watching them play. But Gylfi Sigurdsson to come over to Newcastle, to a promoted side. Swansea's still not doing the greatest. Now, Gylfi Sigurdsson is clearly one of their... Gylfi is their best player, no doubt about it. He gets assists in, week out. And obviously, he's got a whippage of a free kick. He can just score a banger whenever he wants. Now, clearly, he's a wicked player to have in your fantasy team. That's why I've definitely got him there. But Gylfi to Newcastle could happen. Swansea could probably get around 20 million for him. Obviously, the payout wouldn't be too much there. But to see it going to Newcastle would be an absolute sick transfer to have. Gylfi probably deserves a little bit of a better team. I think Newcastle are going to do really well next season. I think they really needed to go back into the Championship to sort of realise what sort of situation they were in and to sort of get them clicking again. Obviously, they didn't lose many players at all, if not any. So seeing Gylfi there would actually slot in really well, and especially to lob a ball over to Gale would be absolutely sick. Now, moving on, going outside of the Premier League, now we do have Jack Wilshere, which is linked to AC Milan. Now, this is via David Beckham. Now, if we all remember David Beckham, he did go over to Milan on a loan. Now, I think he spent about 2 seasons there, I believe, from LA Galaxy. Now, obviously, David Beckham had a prestigious career. Now, obviously, at Milan, he didn't have the greatest career there, but he still obviously made an impact in the Serie A. Now, obviously, Jack Wilshere sort of in and out of the Bournemouth side and can't obviously get a game at Arsenal. I think he's a wicked player. He's got a shit attitude, but obviously that can change because obviously we've seen what Ben Arfa was like, and obviously he's gone over to Nice and then obviously into PSG, and we've seen what a difference he's made. But to see him go over to AC Milan might actually be a sick move for him. I feel like maybe the Italian sort of style of play might actually suit Jack Wilshere a little bit, and I think the Italians would sort of whip him into gear a little bit. But to see it happen would be absolutely sick. It'd be nice to see another English player sort of go over and do the damage that David Beckham did. But obviously David Beckham has recommended it to Jack Wilshere. To see whether it'll happen or not, we're not too sure. But to see it happen would be a 3-star rating. Now, a 3-star rating still staying on here strong is Moussa Dembele to Spurs. Now, originally, he is a sick player. Now, there's no doubt about it. Now, Celtics have just won the league. Clearly, just ran over this Scottish Premier League. Now, obviously, the Scottish Premier League isn't that great, not going to lie. But obviously, you can't take anything away from them that they hadn't lost a game the whole season. You know, kept 18 clean sheets. Absolutely unbelievable. I can't take anything away. Now, obviously, Dembele has been a massive factor to that one there. Now, he's also kicked 32 goals in the 46 games that he's been at Celtics. Now, he is still so young, and the potential that this guy has is it's beyond what the world can actually see. He could be clearly one of the best strikers in the world, and to see him in the Premier League would be sick. Obviously, he's got that potential to be that sort of player. But to be honest, Spurs have Harry Kane. They've got Son that they can come in. And yeah, I can't really see it happening too much. But obviously, 3 stars would be sick. 30 million is his payout that Celtics want. Obviously, to activate that would be pretty easy for Spurs, considering they're sitting second and they're really challenging for Chelsea. I'm shitting bricks. But to obviously see that happen would be sick. Now, considering that I was just saying shit and bricks, now back onto Chelsea. Now, there has been another link for Alvaro Morata to come over to Chelsea. Now, I'm not too sure how exactly this will come about. Now, I just want to talk about Diego Costa. Now, he's up and down with Chelsea. I love him. I chanted him at home on the TV, but he's got a very average attitude towards the team. It's so up and down. It sucks. Obviously, this season's been a lot better, but what we've heard previously in the press that he didn't want to stay at all at Chelsea before the season started, which has been a massive turnaround considering the performance that he's had this season. It's been remarkable, but Alvaro Morata could be a pretty good replacement for Diego Costa if he does decide to leave. I know he's been linked to China, but the celebration with the hands may come about. But whether this will happen or not, to see if Costa leaves. If Costa doesn't leave, Alvaro Morata, I can't really see joining Chelsea at all. But obviously a Spanish like-for-like striker. Now, he's played 34 games this season for Madrid. Now, he started only 14 times. Now, it's sort of hard with Benzema scoring 13 goals, 4 assists, 110 minutes per goal. It's not too bad. But obviously, Diego Costa has been one of the strongest strikers in the Premier League this season. Sort of dropped off a little bit. But like what I said to you about Eden Hazard, it's really hard to find those consistent players that can play for you and do what they do week in, week out. But to see him at Chelsea would be pretty sick to have. He's a great player, I'm not going to lie. He was probably better in the Serie A. But obviously he is a Real Madrid striker for a reason. But to see it happening is sort of a 3-star same there as well. But Chelsea have put aside 70 million euros to buy another striker in the transfer window. But whether they'll activate part of that money to go ahead and get Morata may be a different story. Whether we'll go for Lukaku, I'm not too sure. But it'll be very interesting to see. But to staying on 3 stars now, we've also got Turan from Barcelona to go over to Arsenal. Now, Arsenal are in a lot of trouble. Turan would actually be sick, I'm not going to lie. 30-40 million for him, it's a little bit overpriced. But Turan, we all know what he's capable of doing. Remember what we saw at Atletico Madrid. Obviously, he'd be a sick player to have. I think he'd be an awesome asset, especially playing in the centre mid spot, because Granit Xhaka is such an angry player, and I just can't see Xhaka staying there for more than a couple of seasons. So Turan might be a good replacement, and he's also versatile as well, and he can slot into the left or the right hand side as well. There can kick a goal, can pass. It's definitely what Arsenal are after, but we know what Arsenal do. They just like to go and buy players we've never heard of. But continuing on as well, now moving on to a 4-star likeliness here. Now, Jermaine Defoe, now we all know he's having a season to remember at the moment. Can't believe it. To be honest, I love seeing Jermaine Defoe kick goals for Sunderland, and we all basically know Sunderland is going to go down, which is going to suck, to be honest, but he's linked to West Ham, so he will stay in the Premier League. Now, that's where he started his career, so he started off in Charlton, but that was in his youth. But obviously his first senior career, he started off at West Ham in 1999. Now, geez, I was only a couple years old. Now, obviously he's played 93 games for him, scored 29 goals, stayed there until roughly around 2004, before moving on to Tottenham and Portsmouth and Sunderland, like where he's at now in Toronto. But to see him stay in the Premier League would be sick. I could see him going over to West Ham. I can see West Ham going out and buying him as well. It wouldn't cost too much at all, since his age is, I think he's roughly around 34 years of age, just turning 35. But we all know what he's capable of doing. He's doing it week in, week out at the moment, and he's scoring goals for England still. So I can definitely see it happening. So obviously 4-star. Now, moving on to the last one here. Now, I just want to express to you guys, obviously this one has been a link. Obviously it hasn't been a strong link, but the fact is that Coutinho has been linked away from Liverpool for such some time, has been the dominant force there. Now, he is linked to Barcelona now. Now, I think this is a 5-star likeliness. Now, give me a break here if you Liverpool fans think he's going to stay. Now, put it this way, Coutinho on the weekend was fucking amazing. Like, no joke. He was so sick. And I think if Barcelona, we all know what Barcelona are like with their money. If Barcelona give the right amount of money to Liverpool, Liverpool will take that on board. They'll be like, yeah, thank you so much for coming. I can see it going. I can see him, Iniesta will be on his way out soon. Like, obviously, he's sort of aging on. He's not playing to the best of what he used to be like. And Coutinho is amazing. And linking up with Neymar would be fucking amazing. I'm not going to lie. Seeing Coutinho out of the Premier League would suck, though. But Coutinho is one of those players that Barcelona sort of want to have. So if given the right amount of money, so roughly around, I reckon about 60, 70 million for him, Coutinho is so gone. Like, there would be no second thought about it. He'd be going for the trophies. He's not going to win very much at Liverpool at this point in time unless Liverpool do pull their finger out. But other than that, guys, 5-star rating if the money is, you know, what Liverpool want. But whether it'll happen or not might be a different story, but I can see it happening if the money is good. But other than that, guys, that is all that I have for today's episode. I know this one's gone on for a little bit longer than last time. I thought I'd give you a little bit more details than I did last time, but if you have enjoyed this one, please do give it a like. Please do subscribe. Give us a comment what you guys think of what these transfers may happen. But other than that, thank you so much for your time today, and you have a great afternoon, have a great morning, and I'll see you later.